The alarm rang through the Mars command station at exactly 3 in the morning. Admiral Minho jumped from his bed and ran to the control room. His heart was racing. The night shift officer looked pale and afraid. "Sir, they're here," the officer said quietly. Minho looked at the main screen. His blood went cold. 300 massive ships hung in space above Earth. They were so big that they blocked the sunlight over entire cities. The ships were dark red, covered in strange markings that seemed to glow. These were not human ships. The communications system beeped. Someone was sending a message. Minho pressed the button with a shaking hand. A face appeared on the screen. It was not human. The creature had 4 eyes arranged in a square pattern. Its skin looked like rough stone. When it spoke, the computer translated its words into human language. "I am Overlord Rathiner of the Vexther Empire. We have conquered 47 star systems in 300 years. Your species is primitive and weak. You have 72 hours to surrender. Shut down all your weapons. Accept our rule. If you refuse, we will destroy every city on your planet. Your people will die. This is not a negotiation. This is a fact." The screen went black. Minho stood there for a long moment. He had trained his whole life for space combat, but this was different. This was an enemy that had destroyed dozens of worlds. Earth had never faced anything like this before. "Get me the World Council," Minho said. "Wake everyone up. We have 3 days to save humanity." 2 hours later, leaders from every nation on Earth gathered in a video conference. President Hana of the Pacific Coalition spoke first. She looked tired, but her voice was strong. "We need to consider all options," Hana said. "Maybe we can negotiate. Maybe we can buy time. We have families down there. Billions of people who just want to live." General Yura from the African Union shook his head. "These aliens have never shown mercy before. Intelligence reports say they kill anyone who resists and enslave the rest. Negotiation might just be wasting time." Prime Commander Taiyang of the European Defense Alliance had been quiet until now. He was an old man with white hair and tired eyes. But when he spoke, everyone listened. "There is something you all need to know," Taiyang said. "Something we have kept secret for 20 years. The room went silent. Taiyang pressed a button, and a new image appeared on all their screens. It showed the dark space beyond Neptune, out in the cold region where only ice and rocks existed. In 2045, a small alien ship crashed in the ocean near Japan. Taiyang continued. The public never knew about it. We told the media it was a meteor, but it was a scout ship from an unknown species. We studied that ship for years. We learned things about space travel that humans were not supposed to know for another century." He pressed another button. The image changed. Now it showed hundreds of ships arranged in neat rows. They were painted completely black and covered with strange angles that seemed to bend the light around them. "This is the Black Armada," Taiyang said quietly. "For 20 years, we have been building a secret fleet. 600 warships hidden in the Kuiper Belt. We have technology that the Vexther do not know we possess. Void-skip drives that can fold space. Singularity weapons that erase matter from existence. And stealth systems that make our ships invisible to their sensors." President Hana stared at the screen. 600 ships? How did you hide this from everyone? "Small construction crews in rotation," Taiyang explained. "Cold sleep technology. Automated factories built into asteroids. We told the workers they were building deep space mining stations. Only a few people knew the truth. I am one of them." Admiral Minho felt hope rising in his chest for the first time since the alarm had woken him. 600 ships against their 300. We might actually have a chance. "There is a commander already out there," Taiyang said. Captain Sora. She has been preparing for this day for 15 years. Half her life spent in cold sleep, waking for training missions, then going back under. Her and thousands of other brave souls who volunteered to be humanity's hidden sword. Far out in the darkness beyond Neptune, Captain Sora was already awake. She stood on the bridge of her flagship, the horizon's end. Through the window, she could see dozens of other black ships floating in the darkness. More were waking up every minute. Lights flickered on. Engines hummed to life. Weapon systems began their charging sequences. Her second officer, Heejun, walked up beside her. "All ships reporting ready status," he said. "We can launch in 48 hours. Sora nodded slowly. She had known this day would come. She had dreamed about it during her long sleeps. Sometimes they were good dreams where Earth survived. Sometimes they were nightmares where she woke up to find Earth destroyed and her family dead. "What do you think they will decide?" Heijin asked quietly. Sora watched another black ship power up in the distance. Its engines glowed blue in the darkness. "They will choose to fight," she said. "Humans always fight when their backs are against the wall. It's what makes us dangerous." Back on Earth, the debate continued for hours. Some leaders wanted to try talking to the Vexther. Others wanted to evacuate as many people as possible to Mars and the Moon. But in the end, they all knew there was only one real choice. President Hana spoke for all of them. "Send the signal to Captain Sora. Tell her to prepare the Black Armada. We will not surrender. If the Vexther want Earth, they will have to take it from our cold, dead hands." Admiral Mino sent the coded message. Far out in the dark, Sora received it. She read it once, then turned to her crew. "Wake everyone up," she ordered. "Power up all ships. Load all weapons. The Vexther think they are hunting sheep. They are about to learn that Earth does not raise sheep. We raise wolves." The Black Armada began to move. 600 ships, dark as the void itself, started their slow journey toward Earth. They would arrive just in time. The Vexther had given humanity 72 hours to surrender. Humanity would give them an answer they would never forget. The countdown clock showed 48 hours remaining. On Earth, people tried to go about their normal lives, but fear hung in the air like smoke. The Vexther ships sat in orbit, dark and silent, like predators waiting to strike. Overlord Rafner watched the planet below from his command ship. He had conquered many worlds before. Usually, by this point, the planet's leaders were begging for mercy. But Earth had gone completely silent. No messages. No pleas. Nothing. "They are afraid," his tactical officer said. "Frozen in fear like small animals." Rafner was not so sure. Something felt wrong. But he pushed the feeling away. Humans were a young race. They had barely left their own star system. They could not possibly be a threat dot in the Kuiper Belt. Commander Jin Woo was supervising the final wake-up sequence. All around him, thousands of crew members were coming out of cold sleep. Some looked confused. Others looked scared. But all of them knew why they were here. "How many ships are operational?" Jingwu asked his engineer. 594, the engineer replied. 6 are still running system checks. They will be ready in 12 hours. Jingwu nodded. 600 ships. It had seemed like so many when they started building. Now, facing an empire that had conquered 47 worlds, it seemed like nothing. But it would have to be enough. On the destroyer Silent Thunder, Lieutenant Minji was running navigation drills with her team. The void skip technology was amazing but dangerous. One wrong calculation and a ship could end up on the other side of the galaxy, or torn apart by the folding of space itself. "We need perfect precision," Minji told her crew. "We will jump right into the middle of their fleet. If our positioning is even a little bit wrong, we could appear inside another ship. Or worse, we could appear inside a planet. Her navigation team worked the numbers again and again. Every calculation had to be perfect. There would be no second chances. Down on Earth, the hours crawled by. 48 hours became 36, then 24. The Vexther overlord was growing impatient. He had expected the humans to break by now, to beg and cry and offer him anything he wanted. Instead, there was only silence. Perhaps we need to give them motivation, Rafner said to his officers. Choose a city, a large one. We will destroy it ahead of schedule. Then they will understand that we are serious. His tactical officer pulled up a map of Earth. This city, Mumbai. 12 million humans live there. If we destroy it, the others will surely surrender. Rafner smiled, showing his sharp teeth. Good. Charge the weapons. We attack in 1 hour. We will show these primitives the price of silence. Defense Coordinator Una was watching from the Earth Defense Center. Her sensors picked up the Vexther ships moving into position over Mumbai. Her heart started racing. They are charging weapons, her sensor officer reported. Target is Mumbai. They are going to fire early. Una grabbed her communications device. Admiral Minho, we are out of time. They are about to attack Mumbai. We need the Armada now. On Mars Command Station, Admiral Minho felt his stomach drop. The Black Armada was still hours away from jump position. But if they waited, 12 million people would die. Contact Captain Sora, Minho ordered. Tell her to jump now. Even if the formation is not perfect, we cannot wait any longer. The message reached the horizon's end in seconds. Captain Sora read it and turned to her crew. Her face was calm, but her hands were shaking slightly. All ships, this is Sora. We jump in 5 minutes. Formation might not be perfect, but we have no choice. Mumbai is about to be destroyed. We cannot let that happen. Lieutenant Minji on the Silent Thunder rechecked her calculations one last time. 5 minutes was not enough, but it would have to be. She entered the jump coordinates and sent them to all 600 ships. Engineer Deho was in the weapons bay of the horizon's end. The singularity cannons were ready. Each one could create a tiny black hole that would last for just a split second, long enough to erase anything in its path from existence. They had tested them on asteroids. Now they would test them on enemy ships. Weapons are hot, Deho reported. All cannons ready to fire. Above Mumbai, the Vexther weapons began to glow. A blue light gathered at the front of the lead ship. In 90 seconds, that light would lance down and turn a city into glass and ash. Defense Coordinator Una had her finger on the button. She was counting down in her head. 60 seconds until the Vexther fired. 5 seconds until the Armada jumped. It was going to be close. So terribly close. Jump in 3, Minji said on the Silent Thunder. 2, 1, jump. Space itself seemed to tear open. All around the Vexther fleet, reality bent and twisted. Black holes appeared in the fabric of space, and then suddenly there were ships. Hundreds of ships. All black as midnight. All with weapons already aimed and locked. For a moment, everything was silent. The Vexther could not believe what they were seeing. Their sensors were screaming warnings. Ship after ship appeared on their screens. More ships than the Vexther had brought. More ships than should be possible for a primitive species. Overlord Rafner stared at his screen in shock. Where did they come from? He whispered. Captain Sora did not wait. She gave the order that she had been preparing to give for 15 years. All ships. Fire at will. The singularity cannons fired. Hundreds of them, all at once. Space warped and twisted. The Vexther shields, which had protected them from every weapon they had ever faced, simply vanished. The singularity rounds did not hit the shields. They erased them from existence, along with everything behind them. 73 Vexter ships disappeared in the first 17 seconds. Just gone, turned into expanding clouds of gas and debris. The Vexter fleet tried to respond. Their plasma weapons fired back, but the Black Armada ships were moving. They flickered in and out of space, using microjumps to dodge the attacks. When they appeared, they fired. Then they jumped away before the return fire could reach them. It was not a battle. It was a massacre. Overlord Ravener tried to give orders, but his fleet was in chaos. Ships were exploding all around him. His tactical officer was screaming numbers that did not make sense. 200 enemy ships. 300. 400. 600. We need to retreat. His tactical officer shouted. We need to warn the Empire. Rathner reached for the communications panel to give the retreat order. But before he could press the button, Communications Officer Saren, on the horizon's end, activated a jamming field. Every Vexter communication channel went dead. No messages in. No messages out. No escape. The battle raged for 6 hours. One by one, the Vexter ships were destroyed. They fought hard. They were warriors from an empire that had conquered the stars. But they had never faced an enemy like humanity before. When it was over, space above Earth was quiet. 300 Vexter ships had become 300 fields of debris. Not a single enemy vessel remained intact. Captain Sora stood on the bridge of the horizon's end, breathing hard. Her ship had taken damage. Scorch marks covered the hull. But they had won. Get me a status report on all ships, she ordered. The reports came in slowly. The Black Armada had lost ships too. 41 vessels destroyed. Thousands of crew members dead. But Earth was safe. Mumbai was safe. Admiral Minho's voice came over the communications channel. Captain Sora, this is Mars Command. Well done. You saved the world. Sora looked out at the debris field. We saved it today, sir. But the Vexter Empire will notice their fleet is missing. When they do, they will send more ships. Many more ships. In the silence that followed, everyone knew she was right. They had won the battle. But the war was just beginning. The debris from 300 destroyed ships still floated in Earth's orbit. Repair crews were working around the clock to fix the damaged ships of the Black Armada. In the command centers around the world, nobody was celebrating. Everyone knew what was coming next. President Hanna called an emergency meeting of the War Council. Leaders from every nation appeared on the screens. This time, they had a new guest. Captain Sora had returned to Mars Command Station to join the discussion. Intelligence Officer Nari spoke first. She looked like she had not slept in days. We have analyzed all the data from the Vexter ships we destroyed. Their empire is much larger than we thought. They have over 2,000 warships. What we faced was just a small invasion force. The room went quiet. 2,000 ships. The Black Armada had barely survived fighting 300. When will they notice their fleet is gone? Asked General Yura. 3 weeks, Nari replied. Maybe less. The Vexter require regular status reports from all invasion fleets. When they do not hear from Overlord Rathner, they will send scouts to investigate. Then they will send everything they have. Prime Commander Taiyang leaned forward in his chair. His old face looked even more tired than before. We cannot win a defensive battle against 2,000 ships. Even with our technology, the numbers are too great. They will overwhelm us. So what do we do? President Hanna asked. Run? Hide? We cannot evacuate 7 billion people. Captain Sora had been quiet until now. She stood up and walked to the star map on the wall. We do what humans have always done when faced with impossible odds. We attack first. Everyone stared at her. Admiral Minho shook his head slowly. Attack? Captain, they have 2,000 ships. We have 559 left after the battle. That is suicide. Defending Earth is suicide, Sora said calmly. But if we take the Black Armada to the Vex their homeworld, if we strike their capital before they can mobilize, we might have a chance. Cut off the head of the snake. Make them unable to coordinate. Force them to surrender before they can bring their full strength to bear. Intelligence Officer Nari pulled up new data on the screens. The crashed scout ship we found in 2045 had star charts in its computer. We know where the Vex their homeworld is. It is called Vexthoria. 4.7 light years from here. 4.7 light years, Lieutenant Minji said from her station. She had joined the meeting by video link. That is the longest void skip jump ever attempted. We have only tested jumps of up to 1 light year. This is almost 5 times that distance. Can it be done? Admiral Minho asked. Minji looked at her calculations on the screen. Maybe. The math says it is possible. But the risk is enormous. If our calculations are off by even a tiny amount, we could scatter the fleet across space. Ships could end up hundreds of light years apart. Or they could end up inside stars. Or planets. But it is possible? Sora pressed. Yes, Minji said quietly. It is possible. President Hana looked around at all the faces on the screens. This is the biggest decision in human history. If we send the Armada and it fails, Earth will be completely defenseless. But if we wait here, we will face odds we cannot beat. I need everyone to vote. Do we defend or do we attack? One by one, the leaders voted. Some wanted to defend. They believed humanity should die on their home soil, protecting their families. But most voted to attack. They understood that sometimes the best defense is a strong offense. The vote was close, but the decision was made. The Black Armada would go to Vexthoria. Over the next 2 weeks, the fleet prepared for the impossible mission. Engineer Deho and his team worked on a new weapon. If they overloaded the singularity cannons in a controlled way, they could create a cascade effect. One singularity would trigger others, spreading like a wave through shield networks and defensive systems. Will it work? Sora asked him in the weapons bay. Deho shrugged. In theory, yes. In practice, we have no idea. We cannot test it. If we test it and it fails, it might destroy the entire fleet. And if we use it in battle and it fails, same result. But if it works, it will tear through their planetary defenses like paper. On the Silent Thunder, Minji and her navigation team worked on the jump calculations day and night. 4.7 light years. Hundreds of thousands of variables. The position of every star between here and there. The gravity wells they would pass through. The speed of each ship. Everything had to be perfect. I have checked these numbers 1,000 times, Minji told her assistant. And I am still not sure they are right. Then we checked them 1,000 more times, her assistant replied. Communications Officer Saren prepared a message to broadcast when they arrived at Vexthoria. It was simple and direct. You demanded our surrender. We offer you yours. Stand down or stand aside. She practiced saying it in her mind. Over and over. Captain Sora walked through the halls of the Horizon's End, talking to her crew. Many of them were young. Some had only woken from cold sleep a few weeks ago. They looked scared. I will not lie to you, Sora told them. This mission might be a one-way trip. We might not come home. But if we do nothing, there will be no home to return to. The Vexther will come, and they will destroy everything we love. This is our chance to save Earth, to save humanity, to show the galaxy that humans are not victims. Her tactical officer, Hejun, found her alone in her quarters the night before the jump. "Are you afraid?" he asked. Sora looked at a picture on her desk. It showed her family. A mother and father she had not seen in 15 years because she had been in cold sleep. A younger brother who was now grown. They were all on Earth, waiting to see if she would come home. "I am terrified," she admitted. "But being brave does not mean you are not afraid. It means you do what needs to be done, even when you are afraid." The day of the jump arrived. 559 black ships formed up in space. Every crew member was at their station. Every weapon was loaded. Every system was checked and double-checked. Admiral Mino gave a speech from Mars Command. "You are about to do something that no human has ever done before. You are taking the fight to an enemy that has never been defeated. You carry with you the hopes and dreams of 7 billion people. Go fast, strike hard. Come home." Defense Coordinator Yuna watched from Earth. She thought about all the families saying goodbye. All the people who might never see their loved ones again. War was horrible, but sometimes it was necessary. On the horizon's end, Captain Sora sat in her command chair. She looked around at her bridge crew. They were ready. Scared, but ready. "Lieutenant Minji," Sora said calmly. "Jump coordinates confirmed?" "Confirmed, Captain. All ships have received the calculations. We are ready to jump on your order." Sora took a deep breath. This was it. The moment that would decide the fate of humanity. She thought about her family one more time. Then she pushed those thoughts away. She had a job to do. "All ships," Sora said clearly. "Jump." Space tore open in 600 places at once. Reality bent and folded. The Black Armada disappeared from human space and reappeared in hell. The Vexther homeworld filled the view screens. A red and orange planet covered in cities and military bases. And surrounding it, 800 warships of the Vexther home fleet. The battle for Vextoria had begun. Alarms screamed across the surface of Vextoria. The planet had not heard those alarms in over 200 years. Not since they became conquerors instead of the conquered. Now, suddenly, enemy ships filled their sky. The Empress of the Vexther Empire stood in her throne room, watching the tactical displays. She was old, even by Vexther standards. She had ruled for 40 years and led the conquest of 20 star systems. Now her face showed something she had not felt in decades. Fear. "How many ships?" She demanded. 559, my Empress, her general replied. They appeared from nowhere. Our sensors did not detect them until they were already here. 559, the Empress repeated. We have 800. The numbers favor us. Yes, my Empress. But these are the same ships that destroyed Overlord Rathner-S' entire fleet. They have weapons we have never seen before. On the horizon's end, Captain Sora did not give the Vexther time to organize. All ships spread formation. Surround the planet. Target the orbital fortresses first. Fire when ready. The Black Armada moved like a pack of wolves. They spread out in a sphere around Vextoria, their black hulls almost invisible against the darkness of space. The Vexther home fleet tried to respond, but they were scattered around the planet, protecting different regions. They had never expected an attack on their homeworld. The singularity cannons fired. 20 orbital fortresses simply ceased to exist. 1 second they were there, massive structures bristling with weapons. The next second, there was only empty space. The Vexther fleet charged toward the human ships. 800 ships against 559. But the Black Armada had surprise, and they had tactics learned from centuries of humans fighting each other. They knew every trick of war. Lieutenant Minji on the Silent Thunder executed a series of microjumps. Her ship would appear, fire, and disappear before the Vexter could target her. Other ships copied her tactics. The battle space filled with black ships flickering in and out of reality like ghosts. But the Vexter were not helpless. They were warriors from a race that had conquered 47 worlds. Their plasma weapons might not be as advanced as singularity cannons, but there were many of them. And they were learning. A cluster of Vexter ships worked together, predicting where the Silent Thunder would appear next. When Minji's ship materialized, they were waiting. Plasma fire from 6 directions struck the destroyer at once. The Silent Thunder's shields held for 3 seconds. Then they failed. The ship's hull tore open. Atmosphere vented into space. Emergency bulkheads slammed shut, sealing off the damaged sections. Jump! Minji screamed at her crew. Jump now! The Silent Thunder disappeared just before another volley would have destroyed it completely. The ship reappeared on the far side of the planet, trailing debris and air. It was badly damaged, but still alive. Engineer Deho watched his instruments carefully. The Cascade weapon was ready, but he had to time it perfectly. The planet below was covered by a network of shield generators. If he could hit just one with the overloaded singularity cannon, the Cascade would spread to all the others. Captain, I have a lock on shield generator 17, Dao reported. Permission to fire Cascade weapon? Sora hesitated. If this weapon failed, it could destroy the horizon's end and every ship nearby. But if it worked, it would bring down the planetary defenses. Fire, Sora ordered. Daiho activated the weapon. The singularity cannon charged beyond its normal limits. Energy readings went into the red zone, then past it. Warning alarms screamed. Then the weapon fired. The singularity round hit shield generator 17. For a moment, nothing happened. Then reality seemed to crack. The singularity spread, jumping from one shield generator to the next like lightning. In 10 seconds, every shield generator on the planet overloaded and failed. The planetary shields vanished. It worked, Deho whispered in amazement. It actually worked. But the Armada was paying a price. The Vexter home fleet had recovered from their initial shock. They were coordinating now, working together, concentrating their fire. Human ships were dying. The destroyer Morning Star took a direct hit and exploded. The cruiser Pacific Storm lasted longer, fighting off 6 enemy ships before finally succumbing. One by one, the losses mounted. 40 ships destroyed. 60, 80. Admiral Minnow watched from Mars Command Station, 4.7 light years away. The data came in delayed because of the distance, but he could see the battle unfolding. He could see his people dying. We are losing too many ships. He said to President Hana, at this rate, even if we win, we will not have enough ships left to make it home. Defense Coordinator Yuna stared at the casualty reports. Each number was a ship. Each ship was hundreds of crew members. Thousands of people were dying light years from home. But on Vextoria, something unexpected happened. A transmission came from the planet's surface. Not from the Empress, but from someone else. Human ships. This is General Krelther of the Vexter Military Command. I wish to speak with your leader. Communications Officer Seren looked at Captain Sora in surprise. Sora nodded. Put him through. A new face appeared on the screen. This Vexter was different from Overlord Rathner. He had scars on his face and looked very old. His 4 eyes were tired. I am Captain Sora of the Earthship Horizon's End. What do you want? I want this battle to end, General Krelther said bluntly. I have commanded our forces for 30 years. I have conquered 12 systems for the Empire. But I have never faced an enemy like you. You appeared from nowhere. You destroyed our invasion fleet. Now you appear in our home system and tear through our defenses like they are nothing. You came to our world and demanded we surrender, Sora replied coldly. You threatened to kill millions of innocent people. Why should we listen to you now? Because I am offering you what you came here for, Krelther said. I am offering you our surrender. The bridge of the horizon's end went silent. Tactical Officer Hagen checked his screens. Captain, it could be a trick. They still outnumber us. What are your terms? Sora asked the Vexther General. We withdraw from all occupied systems. We dismantle our invasion fleets. We accept monitoring stations in our space to ensure compliance. And we acknowledge that humanity is not prey. We made a mistake when we came to your world. We will not make it again. What about your Empress? Does she agree to these terms? Krelther's expression was grim. The Empress does not make decisions anymore. The military command has taken control. We have seen of death. Our empire was built on conquest, but today we learned that conquest has a cost. You have taught us that lesson in blood. Sora looked at her crew. They were exhausted. Many were wounded. The ship had taken heavy damage. She thought about all the ships they had lost. All the people who would never go home. She could keep fighting. Push for total victory. Destroy every Vexther ship in orbit. But how many more of her people would die? And would it make Earth any safer? Cease fire, Sora ordered. All Black Armada ships, cease fire. The order spread through the fleet. One by one, the human ships stopped shooting. After a moment, the Vexther ships did the same. The battle space fell silent, except for the crackling of damaged systems and the cries of the wounded. Sori looked at General Krelther on the screen. We will accept your surrender. But know this. If your people ever threaten art again, we will not show mercy a second time. We came here to end this war. If you force us to come back, we will end your civilization. Krelther bowed his head. Understood. I will ensure the Empire remembers this day. The day we learned that humans are not victims. The transmission ended. Captain Sora sat back in her command chair and closed her eyes. It was over. They had won. But the victory felt hollow when she thought about all the empty seats on the ships around her. The Black Armada remained in orbit around Vexthoria for 3 days. During that time, General Krelther proved he meant what he said. The Vexther military began shutting down weapon systems. They opened their communication networks to show they were sending withdrawal orders to all occupied systems. Captain, Sora met with Krelther on a neutral station between the fleets. The Vexther general looked even older in person. His warriors had lost, and the shame of defeat weighed heavily on him. 47 systems, Krelther said quietly as they reviewed the withdrawal plans. 47 worlds we conquered. Now we must leave them all. My people will not understand. For 300 years, we have been the strong ones, the conquerors. Now we are the conquered. Sora felt a strange sympathy for this old warrior. Your people will survive. They will adapt. Maybe they will learn that there are better ways to exist in this galaxy than through conquest. Perhaps, Krelther replied. Or perhaps they will simply hate you forever for humiliating us. Hate is a choice, Sora said. So is peace. Your people will decide which path they want to walk. We hope they choose wisely. On the 4th day, the Black Armada prepared to leave. They had lost 147 ships in the battle. Over 15,000 crew members had died. The surviving ships were damaged and worn. But they had achieved their mission. Lieutenant Minji's ship, the Silent Thunder, was barely holding together. 3 decks were completely destroyed. The void skip drive was damaged. But the navigation officer refused to be left behind. I will make it home, Minji told Captain Sora over the communications channel. even if I have to limp all the way there at regular speed. You will jump with the rest of us, Sora replied firmly. Your crew repaired the drive enough. We all go home together, or none of us do. Engineer Deho supervised the repairs across the fleet. His singularity cannons had worked perfectly. Too perfectly. Some ships had overused them, burning out the weapon systems. It would take months to repair everything properly. But they only needed the ships to work long enough to get home. The jump back to Earth was scheduled for dawn on the 5th day. As the fleet prepared to leave, the Vexter sent one final message. It was from a young Vexter female, barely an adult by their standards. My name is Rensha, the message said. I am a student here on Vexthoria. Before your fleet came, I was taught that other species were inferior, that we had the right to rule them because we were stronger. But you have shown us that strength is not the same as rightness. You defeated us, but you did not destroy us. You offered mercy when you could have offered death. I hope I can learn from this. I hope my people can learn from this. Thank you for teaching us that there are better ways to be strong. Communications Officer Saren played the message for Captain Sora. Should I respond? Sora thought for a moment. Tell her that the galaxy is large enough for all of us. Tell her that strength should protect the weak, not prey on them. Tell her we hope her generation will be wiser than the ones that came before. The message was sent. Then the Black Armada jumped. The return journey was quieter than the trip out. Every crew member was exhausted. Many were wounded. All of them were thinking about friends who would never see Earth again. On the horizon's end, Tactical Officer Hajun organized a memorial service. Names were read. Faces were remembered. Captain Sora spoke to the assembled crew. We lost 147 ships, she said, her voice steady but sad. 15,317 crew members. Each one of them was a hero. Each one of them saved Earth. We will remember them. And we will make sure their families know that they died protecting everything we love. The fleet emerged from Voidskip 3 days later. Earth appeared on the view screens, blue and green and beautiful. For many crew members, it was the first time they had seen their homeworld in years. The celebration was immediate. Every city on Earth erupted in joy. People danced in the streets. They hugged strangers. They cried tears of relief and happiness. The Vexter were defeated. Humanity was safe, but in the military command centers, the mood was more somber. Admiral Mino reviewed the casualty reports with a heavy heart. President Hana read the names of the dead ships. Prime Commander Taiyang, who had kept the Black Armada secret for 20 years, finally allowed himself to feel the weight of all those years. Was it worth it? President Hana asked him quietly. Taiyang looked at the images of Earth, of people celebrating in the streets. Ask me again in 100 years, he said, when those children down there have grown up in a galaxy where humanity is respected instead of feared. When the Vexter have learned to live without conquest. Then we will know if it was worth it. The Black Armada was formally decommissioned over the next 10 years. The technology that made the ships possible was shared with the rest of humanity. Earth expanded carefully into the stars, no longer hiding, but not seeking conquest either. Captain Sora returned to her family. Her mother and father were older now. Her younger brother had children of his own. They spent a long evening together, and Sora told them everything. The fear, the battle, the losses, the victory. I am proud of you, her mother said, holding her hand. You saved the world. I did what needed to be done, Sora replied. Many others did the same. They are the real heroes, especially the ones who did not come home. Lieutenant Minji became an instructor at the Earth Space Academy, teaching navigation to new generations. She never forgot the feeling of making that first impossible jump, appearing in enemy space. Facing odds that should have destroyed them, Engineer Deho continued working on singularity technology. But now he focused on peaceful applications: mining, construction, energy generation. The weapons that saved Earth could now help build a better future. Communications. Officer Saren took a job at the newly formed Galactic Relations Office. She was part of the team that made first contact with species that the Vexthur had conquered. Many of those species were grateful that humanity had freed them. Some were afraid of this new power in the galaxy. Saren worked to show them that Earth sought cooperation, not domination. Defense Coordinator Yuna retired and wrote a book about the war. She wanted people to remember not just the victory, but the cost. She wanted future generations to understand that war should always be the last option, never the first. 5 years after the battle, Earth received a message from Vexthoria. It was from Rensha, the young Vexthur student, who had sent that message before the Armada left. "I am now part of our new civilian government," her message said. "The military no longer rules our empire. We are learning to be different. It is hard. Many of my people are angry. But some of us remember the lesson you taught us. That strength should protect, not conquer. I wanted you to know that your sacrifice was not wasted. We are changing. Slowly, but we are changing." The message was shared across Earth's communication networks. People read it and felt hope. Maybe the galaxy could be a better place. Maybe different species could learn to live together. 50 years later, human historians would look back at this moment as the turning point. The moment when humanity stepped onto the galactic stage, not as conquerors or victims, but as guardians. The moment when Earth showed the galaxy that there were better ways to be strong. And in the military museums, preserved forever, were the names of every crew member who died in the Battle of Vexthoria. 15,317 heroes who gave their lives so that billions could live in peace. Not the galaxy remembered, not Earth remembered. They came demanding surrender. Instead, they learned why humanity does not make good victims, and why, when humans are pushed to the edge, they do not break. They push back. The Black Armada was gone, decommissioned and dismantled. But its legend lived on. A reminder that peace is precious, but freedom is more precious still. And that sometimes, the only way to achieve lasting peace is to show that you are willing and able to fight for it. The stars were no longer dark and full of threats. They were full of possibilities. And humanity, once alone and afraid, now walked among them with confidence, not as conquerors, not as victims, but as equals.